Hello, just finished She-Hulk, and lordy, if you told me that the most divisive TV show of the year was going to be about a 7-foot green woman, I'd have told you that you were probably huffing paint. Depending on who you talk to, the show is either a perfect comedic masterwork or more evidence of the feminist agenda. The people who love and hate this show frankly made it a bit difficult to engage in proper discourse over it, and frankly, it's been a little aggravating. Say anything nice about this show and you'll be labeled some kind of Marvel shilling beta, and if you say anything even mildly critical about this show, you'll be called a man-child. Frankly, it's made my feed every Thursday a rather aggravating place. I still think you should be able to criticize something even if it's well-intentioned. Right off the bat, the main defense people have been throwing at this show is, it's a comedy, and yeah, that's fair. This show does not adhere to the standard ebb and flow of the MCU, and honestly, that's commendable. I've maintained for a long-ass time now that the MCU needs to start thinking more outside the box and get creative again. However, the problem that arises from this is, I'm just gonna rip this band-aid, I don't think this show is very funny. Some people might throw out that comedy is subjective argument at me, and sure, laugh at whatever you find funny, but I'm sorry, I watched all 9 episodes of this show, and I can really count all the times that this show made me laugh on one hand. The MCU's comedy has been the subject of various levels of criticism lately, and frankly, I can't blame people because it does get really annoying. Most of the time, I just found this show to be kind of boring. The reason I like superhero stories is they offer avenues for unique stories, and this show offers very little in the way of substance or intrigue, honestly. I think the MCU has come a bit too far by this point to do something this painfully average. And it's a shame because Tatiana Maslany is honestly doing some really great work here. She's used to playing outside of the box roles, and it shows. She's funny, she's charming, with just a dash of relatable anxiety. However, I do think that the way the show handles her character is a bit messy, if I'm being honest. Her motivations and desires seem to shift episode to episode, as sometimes it seems like she wants to be She-Hulk, and other times she doesn't, which makes for a fairly disjointed character arc. People are throwing around a lot of heated talking points about this show, saying things like, if you don't like it, that's because it's not for you, but that doesn't really track if I'm being too honest. This show is loaded with things you'd have to be a fan of the MCU in order to appreciate, so I don't really think that argument holds water. Many people's main issue with this show is that not a lot of interesting stuff happens in it, and frankly, I don't blame them because it doesn't really become interesting until the last 2 episodes. And yeah, the last 2 episodes are genuinely really good, and what I hoped this show was going to be when I heard it was announced. To be clear, I'm not saying every MCU project needs to be predicated on cameos and surprises, but Daredevil's appearance is definitely a treat. Charlie Cox hasn't lost a step since the Netflix show, and he brings his standard charm to this new version of the character. It also helps that he and Maslany have some stellar on-screen chemistry with each other, and I would not mind seeing them together in other MCU projects. It also helps that the season finale is also really good. They finally used the fourth wall breaking trope in a very interesting and comic accurate way. Jen breaking the fourth wall to tell us that an episode is going to be filler doesn't really work for me. But Jen literally using the Disney Plus interface as a portal to our world, where she goes and confronts the She-Hulk writer's room and an AI version of Kevin Feige. Yeah, this is the kind of gonzo shit that I am here for. If the second season of this show leans way more into stuff like this, I could honestly see this becoming my favorite MCU project. But like I said, this heightened sense of urgency and storytelling really only comes in for the last 2 episodes. So while on the whole I can't say this show was great, I can say it has a lot of solid elements that I would like to see played with in a second season. Also, I would love to see Tatiana Maslany play She-Hulk at some point again in the MCU down the line. So overall, I'm going to give She-Hulk Season 1 a 5.5 out of 10. Hey guys, figured I'd take a little bit of time here to thank you for watching and to solicit some subscribers because I'm looking to do more stuff like this. Gonna work hard to provide a nice grab bag of different content on this channel in the coming months, so definitely stick around for the fun. Also sad to say that due to an unfortunate injury, the Lucky 13 documentary I was working on will likely be delayed till next year, so get well Lucky and I'll see you soon, brother. Till next time, this is Benjamin Falbo, signing off.